Twain were alive today, he'd describe our modern classics as games which people praise but do not play. Either that, or he'd scream and scratch frantically on the inside lid of his coffin. Either way, we're counting down GamePro magazine's modern classic video games up next. Welcome to Filter, where gamers are gamers and women have never felt safer in their lives. I'm Diane Mizota, and this week we polled the big game brains at GamePro magazine for their modern classics and stacked them up against your Filterator choices at g4tv.com. The top 10 titles range everywhere from the mean streets of Vice City to the farthest frontiers of outer space. If you've been under a rock for the past 2 decades, then you've got some brushing up to do on your game collection. That's why this week we're counting down the top 10 modern classics that every gamer should own. And to make things interesting, we had the guys from GamePro Magazine and Games.net give us their picks to see how they stack up against your faves. Number 10 on your list of must-haves is Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto 3. Most people who have played this game can still remember where they were when they realized that they could go anywhere and do anything in Liberty City with no repercussions.
Grand Theft Auto 3 is really sort of the first game that it's a game that introduced a new style of gameplay to video games. It's kind of revolutionary in that respect, and now it was sort of the so-called free-roaming environment.
Even though there are technically 5 GTA games, you really only need to play this one. Besides, they didn't change anything in the last 2 anyway.
Then you look at a game like Diablo 2, and it's sort of the same thing, that when it came out for the PC, it sort of changed the idea of what a role-playing game could be.
The number 9 must-have on our list is Namco's Soul Calibur. If you bought a Dreamcast at its launch, you probably fawned over the amazing graphics and infinite playability of this title.
Soul Calibur I like because, you could be a crazy hardcore fighting gamer, or you could just be like, button masher. You just pick up the game, rent it, and, you see some swords flying, and that's fun.
I always wonder, can the Soul Blade actually see out of that eye?
Nearly every single Zelda game that comes out could be considered a classic in its own right.
In light of number 8 being Halo 2, you're probably wondering why the original isn't here on the list. Well, the second installment did add to the multiplayer aspect in ways that now seem vital. In addition, the game's single-player missions were more fleshed out and offered more variety of play.
The single player is what it is. It's fun to play, but the multiplayer is where the meat and potatoes are. It's just a game that anybody can pick up and play. It's very competitive. Once you've mastered it, you can take a lot of people out.
We got trouble.
Also, the game's Xbox Live voice chat is responsible for giving a nation full of racist homophobes a medium for spewing out slurs without fear of being punished. Way to go.
Ain't nothing we ain't done before.
Sonic the Hedgehog at the time, back in the 90s when it came out, was a very unusual game. It had a very different type of gameplay, which was, you had this hedgehog that ran super fast, like the Flash, like faster than any other. That was the big thing. It was faster than any other video game character.
When you're not busy dusting your leather-bound editions of these modern classic video games, you may want to sample a snifter of cream soda or savor a fine bubblegum cigar while enjoying the excellent movies, music, and DVDs in this week's Pop Culture Capsule. Yo, check this out. Looking for something that's still good from the 90s? Well, look no further than the Foo Fighters and Weezer as they hit Grand Rapids, Michigan, October 6th, Detroit, Michigan, October 7th, then on to Cleveland, Ohio, October 8th. Wallace and Gromit are back, and this time they're here for a lot longer. In their first ever feature film, Wallace and Gromit play Sherlock Holmes and try to discover the plague that is killing their vegetable contest. I'm serious! You just couldn't get enough of Orlando Bloom as Legolas, huh? Me either. This time, forget the bow and arrow and look for the sword in the DVD release of Kingdom of Heaven, featuring all the violence and none of the elf ears. Darn. It's all about the cut and paste today, and if you can't get enough of it, we present you my big fat independent movie, courtesy of our good friend Chris Gore.
Get out of here.
Easy, Leonard. We tried to call ahead. Why don't you pick up the phone?
Don't answer the phone. Why not?
We're going to boldly go to a commercial right now, but don't you wander off. We'll hear from Snake, Mario, and Cloud Strife when Filter's Modern Classic Countdown continues.
Yeah.
8582. Call now. Whip set.
Welcome back to Filter and GamePro Magazine's first ever salute to modern classic video games. What makes a game a classic? Some might say it's pulse-pounding combat action, others might say it's a good time arcade experience, and others will tell you it's all about the hero with the spiky hair. And as our countdown continues, you'll see that they're all right. Before gaming's favorite spy became a snake eater, there was Metal Gear Solid. The Hideo Kojima masterpiece makes 7th place on our countdown of classic games. The game's little nuances, such as the little exclamation points over guards' heads, will forever live in the hearts of stealth fans everywhere.
Metal Gear Solid, I mean, it was the first game that introduced stealth to sort of this commando game genre, and it really took the emphasis away from actually shooting stuff.
This game has also spawned many successful sequels, including a GameCube remake, proving that dialogue doesn't have to make sense completely to be entertaining.
Don't touch it.
It's one of those games that sort of started a whole genre on its own back before there was even a survival horror genre at all.
Let's go! Back to the heyday of the N64 for number 6's Super Mario 64.
This Mario is annoying. Like, it's me, Mario! And he's just talking really obnoxious, and, you know, it's just really goofy. I think it's overrated, and just people were just drooling and fawning over it just because it was in 3D.
Super Mario 64 also scored some positive exposure for Italian-American activist groups hoping to get away from negative mafia stereotypes.
It's a mix of action, storytelling, and online gaming that will probably go down as being one of the best FPS console experiences ever.
If you owned a PlayStation during any part of its hardware cycle, you probably spent hours staring at the beautiful fantasy world that Final Fantasy VII portrayed. The Square Enix epic comes in 5th.
Like, if you look at Nintendo, they had Mario Brothers. You look at N64, they had Mario 64. You look at the PlayStation, and you have Final Fantasy VII. It sort of defined what the PlayStation gaming experience was when it first came about.
The cultural ramifications of the game are vastly apparent even today. It's responsible for a considerable amount of Tifa-related softcore on the web, and probably more than half of the message board members on the Gaming Age forums have Sephiroth somewhere in their handle.
Castlevania is sort of a classic, Dracula vampire hunting adventure game.
No classic games episode would be complete without a nod to the machine that started many a gamer down the slippery slope to bad posture and sore thumb tendons, the personal computer. Let's check out the top-selling PC titles down at EB Games. This week, Sims 2 begins a virtual life with number 10. Madden NFL 06 fumbles number 9. The annoying aliens from Half-Life 2 invade number 8. Number 7 endures the never-ending Final Fantasy 11. Dungeon Siege 2 locks up number 6. Number 5 instigates the Guild Wars. Battlefield 2 waves the white flag to number 4. Consuming number 3's life is World of Warcraft. EverQuest 2 Desert of Flames ignites number 2. And getting down with the top spot this week are the digital dancers from Sims 2 Nightlife Expansion Pack. Ooh, ooh. So many links make the email rounds, but only a few are worth bookmarking. The monkey, sniffing his finger, falling off a tree branch, comedy gold. That I kiss you guy from Turkey, played out. Here's tech reporter John Walsh with another cache full of classic sites in this week's Net to Know.
At number 3 this week, so you've got Friendster for making friends and MySpace for presumably when you need your space. But what if you want to dress up like Tigger and play Pin the Tail on Eeyore? Christopher Ivy suggests posting your personals at pounced.org. Hey, it beats sniffing random buttholes on the street. Or does it? And crowning at number 2, a furry in the White House? If they start voting as a bloc the way robots and vegetarians do, there's no telling what could happen, which is why FurNation.com scares me so much. AnthroFox88 swears it's not a political action committee, but I would watch these people very closely if I were absolute ruler, which I will be one day. And at number 1, you know on Halloween how there's always that one jackass who shows up in a t-shirt that says, "This is my costume"? That's lazy. No fun-sized Butterfingers for him. That's sort of how I feel about the t-shirts on sale at rabbitvalley.org. A t-shirt does not cut it, kids. Let your fur flag fly, like my friend here. Hey, get off me, weirdo! And that, America, is all you need to know.
What do Gordon Freeman and Sonic the Hedgehog have in common? They're both up next as Filter's classic game countdown continues. Oh, plus they're dating. I know, he seems so much like Born to Mario.
Ultimate player control. We'll see.
Welcome back for more timeless gaming titles in Filter and GamePro's Modern Classic Countdown. There's something iconic about a butt-kicking nerd. That's why Gordon Freeman struck such a chord with so many gamers in Half-Life 1 and 2. Sonic, on the other hand, takes a bit of explaining. Hey now, it's the high-speed Hedgehog hailing the 4th position. The 16-bit side-scrolling Sonic Speed Fest made waves and put it in the running to be one of your top classic favorites.
Sonic is a classic. It offered such a fast-paced, platformer compared to Mario. It was just a different pacing, he was more hardcore than Mario, who's this cushy fat plumber.
Personally, I think Sonic is less of a heroic figure and more of a greedy one. I mean, he seems to run fastest when he's trying to collect gold rings. What does he need them all for anyway? Number 3 on our must-have list is Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2 is like the perfect sequel. And it looks better, it plays better, it has all the strengths of the previous game when you really kind of put first-person shooters on the map.
The game gets huge props for immersing the player in a hyper-realistic world with an ultra-detailed physics model. I wish I had a gravity gun. I get so tired of picking things up with my hands and carrying them around. I guess I could also get a manservant, but the gravity gun is just so much cooler.
When someone had an N64, you went over to their house and played GoldenEye. Because 4 players, split screen, primitive by today's standards, but at the time it was just a blast.
And moving on from Gordon Freeman's Half-Life to somebody with no life, here's John Walsh again with another award-shunning Tales from the Dork Side.
This had better be good. They got me up at 5:30 in the morning to see the launch of the Robots DVD here at Fox Studios. Apparently there's some domino topple.
Wonderbot, go to work.
Since I'm here, I might as well tell people about the video Be Gone. It's this thing you can carry on a keychain that shuts down any camcorder that's aimed at you.
General is here to kick off the Robot DVD Spectacular.
All right, so the dominoes are falling. They appear to be continuing to fall. And yes, there's some definite falling dominoes. A number of the dominoes are no longer upright. They have fallen. It's times like this a journalist begins to question the point of such an exercise. I'm going to go now to a bystander here at the event. Sir, can you tell us what you saw?
I saw dominoes falling. It was great. There's robots dancing. It was really neat.
And what about the president's tardy response to this falling domino phenomenon?
George Bush doesn't like black dominoes.
Sometimes the little orphans will ask me, "Where do you work, Mr. Walsh?" And I tell them, "At the bottom of the media pecking order." And a new day dawns over the city of angels, and I think this thing is actually over. I mean, even the freaking blue men are gone. What the hell? Jennifer Coolidge, what the hell are you doing up at such an early hour?
Well, I'm here to iron your pajamas.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. I got this device called the Video Be Gone. And what this does is it'll shut off any camcorder that's aimed at you.
Really? Oh my God, I love this. Does it really work? I'm going to say a lot of personal things about myself. I'm very itchy. This morning, I woke up with someone that I met last night, and I couldn't remember where I met them.
Buy Robots. It's on DVD now. I'm going back to bed.
Hey, chew on this. It's the week's top music downloads, courtesy of Dentine Ice. This week we're popping in on MSN Music to check out their top pop downloads. Gwen is in the 5th spot this week. She's way too cool for 5th. We can't seem to shake Mariah off from the 4th spot. And Miss Clarkson is really at number 3 because of you. Both you and me find it hard to believe that Lifehouse is number 2. And the Pussycat Dolls Keep You Whipped this week. Doja is number 1.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was wrong like me?
Need a late-night snack? Try barbed wire biscuit. A mouthful of mashed-up mayhem.
What?
Blow stuff up and learn about science with Brainiac.
Is looking at women's breasts a workout?
Get sick and twisted with the Happy Tree Friends and Friends.
Where's that coming from?
And sample the best eye candy from Japan with Anime Unleashed and Cinematech Nocturnal Emissions. Taste the party. Barbed wire biscuit. Tonight at midnight. Gentlemen, it's okay to be a man again.
Blast away!
Man Show is back, weeknights at 10, starting October 10th on G4.
Coming out this week is the game you've waited your whole life for. Well, if slicing up internal organs is your idea of a bloody good time, Trauma Center, Under the Knife, cuts open stores October 4th. Dracula is back yet again to do what he does best, not die. But hey, maybe this time he'll actually put the count in his coffin for good. Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow haunts stores October 4th. When you're done playing Madden, why not play some real football? FIFA Soccer 06 kicks down stores October 4th. Welcome back to the conclusion of Filter and GamePro's Modern Classic Countdown. From gun-toting drug fiends to battle-hardened space marines, hyperactive hedgehogs to stealthy assassins, all manner of characters inhabit your top 10 list this week. Here's how you voted so far. This week, Grand Theft Auto 3 outruns the cops, kills a hooker, and steals the 10th spot. At number 9, Soul Calibur has way more soul than Soul Plane and less rock cocaine than James Brown. Halo 2 is no noob to the countdown. It shoots up 8th place. Snake is dead. Wait, no, he's at number 7. A 64-bit plumber? What's next, 128-bit gardener? Oh, fine. Super Mario 64 is 6th. I'm sure this won't be the final time that Final Fantasy VII shows up on our countdown. It's 5th. At number 4, Sonic the Hedgehog proves to be more popular than any high-speed badger or skunk bear. Though the ending makes it seem like half of a game, Half-Life 2 makes the countdown at 3rd. GoldenEye 64 versus the Ocarina of Time. The Master Spy versus the Brave Elf Guy. One likes stirring adventures, the other likes shaken martinis. But which one really rocks your world? You're about to find out in this week's Filter Face-Off. Zelda's zealous zestiness, or guileful golden gadgets? This week's Filter Face-Off is going to be classic either way. If your idea of a classic game includes doing ocarina solos and Lilliputians named Link, then you'd probably vote for the fan favorite, The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time.
I think a lot of fans of Zelda were just enamored with it. Being able to ride a horse, being able to go to so many different areas of the Hyrule world. Basically, it set the stage, too, for future Zelda games. Even the Wind Waker is heavily influenced by Ocarina of Time.
The perennial 4-player party platter, GoldenEye 007 on the Nintendo 64 is back on our countdown, and this time, it's in the running for its classic multiplayer death matches. Ah, I miss those good old N64 days when people would sit back with a beer and get slapped in the crotch by Oddjob.
Yeah, everybody loves that game. It really, people played it over and over again, and then even when they finished playing it, they'd get together in these multiplayer games, with the N64 and just, would play it forever. They'll still play it now if you set it up.
So, what's more classic, the timeless Ocarina or the solid gold GoldenEye? Yo, Shorty, play that flute.
The Ocarina of Time had a couple of different types of gameplay elements in it, one was the ocarina. You had to learn musical tones to make things happen. You also had a first-person view gameplay, which enabled them to use a bow and arrow and a slingshot. So there's a lot of different things that you could do with the game, and that's why fans really liked it. It's a great game.
You just can't topple this legendary game. The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time proves to be the #1 classic game that you have no choice but to own.
Earthworm Jim is such an unusual character, an earthworm with superhero skills. But one thing about this game was that it was gorgeous to look at, and the animation was very smooth.
How many imitators have come after Metal Gear trying to capture that stealth gameplay element? Most fail, but some get it right, and Metal Gear is always going to be that classic game that started it all.
And so the suave super spy takes it on the chin from the elfin adventurer. Way to go, Link! And that's it, kids. You've squeezed out all the filter you're going to get from me tonight. Join us next week when we count down your favorite DVDs from the summer of '05. And don't forget to cast your vote on the Filterator at g4tv.com. Until next time, I'm Diane Mizota, reminding you that you can't spell classic without ASS. That's right. I said it.